I spent the last year exploring hundreds of places in 32 different countries in Europe, and these are the ones I would not recommend. First off, Andorra. Andorra is a little country in between Spain and France. I was very excited to go there, especially since I like to know new places, and come on, it's a country in between Spain and France. But what I found was that the region in between France and Spain is much more interesting, and that Andorra in itself is actually quite boring. What you have in Andorra is pretty much quite modern buildings because it was all built in the last 50 to 70 years, even though the country is really old. It only got rich in the last decades or so there's not huge constructions, cute architecture, medieval vibes, or anything like that. It's good for shopping and it's good for skiing. I didn't have money, so I couldn't shop, and I didn't have money, so I couldn't ski. I also don't know how to ski yet, so I didn't like it that much. Second is actually Loch Ness. I was really excited to go. I thought it was going to be something incredible. I hadn't really seen pictures or anything, but just the vibe, and since everybody talks about it and all that, it's an old myth. But what I found was just a pretty regular lake in the middle of the Highlands. The Highlands themselves are like beautiful. They're really, really amazing. But Loch Ness is probably the most boring part of the Highlands, in my humble opinion. You should definitely go to like villages or to Inverness, maybe. Go to Edinburgh. Edinburgh is absolutely amazing. Go to the Highlands. But Loch Ness, anything that you have to pay extra to go or to get in the lake or anything, it's just going to be like a short story about a myth, and nothing's going to happen unless you see Nessie. But you're probably not going to be lucky enough for that. Next up, I'll say Geneva in Switzerland. It was not as cute as Bern, it was not as cute as Lucerne, it was not as bustling as any other European capital I've been to. It was pretty much just quiet, discreet, and didn't have a lot to do. It might be a city you could live in. It's very rich, very wealthy, very formal, so to say. But for touristing around and stuff, the fountain that blows up in the lake is nice, and the view getting there from the airplane is it's amazing. The Alps are insane, but the city itself is something that, especially when you compare it to other Swiss cities, Swiss towns, Swiss standards, it didn't get that much out of it. You know those messy merchant towns that sometimes appear in animations, animes, that kind of vibe, with like kids running around and very messed up and very chaotic, and hills up and down and narrow streets and narrow alleys and that kind of vibe. Yeah, that's how I felt about Genova in Italy, and it was probably my least favorite city in Italy. To be fair, I feel like there wasn't that much to do. There was a very high up point where you could see the sunset and all that, but I didn't think the city was that beautiful, honestly. And I didn't stay there for that long, so I could be wrong. I'll give it another chance, but my first impressions of the city was that it was probably on the weaker end of Italy. Other cities I didn't really like that much were Vilnius in Lithuania, Bratislava in Slovakia, and Budva in Montenegro. I'm gonna give all of them a second chance, but my first impression of them was that they were less exciting than pretty much all of the cities that they compare to, the cities surrounding them, the other capitals and countries near them, and all that. And you have to do a comparison, right? Obviously, there's things to do in every city, there's beauty in every city, but on a relative basis, on a comparison basis, they were not the most exciting.